Hello, heroes and villains. Welcome to Multiverse. Today, we will take a look at our friend Wally West, aka Kid Flash or The Flash, depending on when you became familiar with the character. So, here we're seeing a pretty good version of Kid Flash from the Young Justice TV show. Although at the time it was kind of sort of a mishmash of Kid Flash and Impulse. But then later on, they actually did introduce the actual Impulse character in the TV show. But here we can create a pretty darn good version of our friend Kid Flash. I cheated a bit and I gave him the Legion belt. That's not really the belt he had, but I thought it was fitting with this character. Of course, I'm using the Omnipotence face mask, the overcharged face mask. It's the OP face mask you can get from the Legion DLC. For everything else, you could get a slimline chest piece and a slimline pair of pants. The gloves are the Argonaut gloves. The boots are the nuclear boots. And again, the belt, any number of belts would do the trick. Here, this is the Cosmic Boy belt. And of course, I'm using the enhanced version of the Flash emblem. At this point in time, you could probably still purchase the Flash emblem from the broker, but just buy it from Booster Gold. And I am using the Sparking Aura. Sadly, at this point, the only way to really get the Sparking Aura is from the broker. And it's going to be very rare. And if you're lucky to see it on the broker, it will be very expensive. But originally, Wally West pretty much had the very same costume as the Flash. It basically was like a smaller version of the Flash. I would use a smaller body size to be able to show this, but I don't want to change the size of my character, sadly, just for those videos, so I'm not changing the size of my character. But this is pretty much the Flash costume, with the Flash headpiece you can get from the marketplace. The gloves are the Trim Classic gloves that you can get straight at character creation. The boots are the Flash boots. I have a handful of videos that shows how to get the Flash boots, but the short answer would be just buy them from the broker. Again, for the chest piece and the pants, any slimline would do the trick. The belt, I'm using the Speed Force Spectrum belt. People often ask for an official Flash suit. This is pretty much as official as you can get within the context of DC Universe Online. We do have an official Flash suit sold by Jay Garrick, but it looks nothing like the Flash, sadly. So Kid Flash pretty much had a Flash costume for a while until he ended up getting his own costume. We can recreate something fairly close to the Kid Flash costume. We would need an actual Kid Flash cowl, but until we actually get one, the vesture of proselyte headpiece is the closest thing we have to a Kid Flash headpiece at this point. For the gloves, I'm using the Slimline gloves. And for the belt, I'm using the High Density Tactical Belt, basically the Green Arrow belt. I'm still using the Flash boots, and again, the pants are Slimline. This is the reverse Slimline, but any Slimline pants will do the trick. And for the same for the chest piece, here I'm using the T Slimline chest piece, but any Slimline chest piece will do the trick. So this was the costume he had for quite a while, until sadly, Barry Allen the Flash died in Crisis on Infinite Earths. And then after Crisis on Infinite Earth, he did become the Flash to replace Barry Allen. So he went back to basically pretty much the classic Flash costume. Although here I'm using the red vinyl neon chromo material. And I'm also using the Sinister material for the belt and the boots. So it can give us a more shiny version of the Flash costume if we use the red vinyl neon chromo material. And then at some point, pretty much around the time where we got the Flash TV show in I think it was 1990, they gave him a sort of upgrade to his costume, or they tweaked his costume a bit, where they made it a bit more shiny. We can sort of create this effect using the red metallic material. Although sadly for the hands, I could not use the red metallic material. Or if I did, sadly it wouldn't really work. So I kept the red vinyl neon chromo material for the hands. Or I could simply just put the gloves yellow same as the boot and the belt using the Sinister material. And also at the time, the other distinction they made, like other than making the costume shiny, they also made it so that we couldn't see the eyes really, like the eyes of the character were white. So instead of being the mask being open a bit around the eyes, it pretty much was a mask with white eyes instead. But then at some point we got a comic Flash Rebirth, where we had the return of Barry Allen. They had teased the return of Barry Allen a few times in the past, but there's one time where we thought Barry Allen was back, and it actually was the evil Professor Zoom, the Reverse Flash of the 25th century, who actually came back and pretended to be Barry Allen. But sadly, with the Flashpoint Rebirth comics, Barry Allen actually did come back. Actually, he did come back in Flashpoint Rebirth, come to think of it. He came back in Final Crisis. So in Final Crisis, we had the return of Barry Allen the Flash. So at some point, I guess DC didn't really know what to do with Wally West now that Barry Allen was back. So when we got the New 52, Wally West sadly was pretty much forgotten, and Barry Allen was the Flash once more. But then we had the Rebirth, DC Rebirth event, where we had the return of Wally West. And so they gave Wally a somewhat different costume, although at the end of the day, what they really ended up doing was just tweak the colors of his costume. But they added some sort of a white lightning to the costume. With the boots, the Speed Force Spectrum boots kind of sort of work to recreate the new look that Wally had with Rebirth. For the gloves, not really. Here I'm still using the Trim Classic gloves. We could try to use the Speed Force Spectrum gloves to get the big lightning at the gloves, but we end up with some pretty bulky gloves. So I kind of prefer to use the Trim Classic gloves instead. And then recently they gave him, they turned Kid Flash into sort of a cross between Kid Flash and Dr. Manhattan. Basically he gained the powers of a Dr. Manhattan somehow. And they pretty much again tweaked the color of his costume to pretty much be a blue version of the costume he already had. But in the forehead, he has the emblem of Dr. Manhattan. Sadly, I cannot have that emblem, so what we have is the Indigo Lantern emblem instead. And in this case, also I'm using the blue neon chromo material. So it's a fairly close approximation of the blue Wally West version that we have recently in the comics. Although seeing how the Scorching Aura is, let's say, a bit difficult to get these days, and seeing how this is a version of Wally West with Dr. Manhattan's powers, I guess you could use some sort of blue aura instead to sort of suggest the powers of Dr. Manhattan. So this should be a style that should be easy enough to reproduce. Although Kid Flash has often been a member of the Teen Titans, so if somehow you cannot get the Flash emblem for whatever reason, you should be able to get the Teen Titans emblems easily enough right now, seeing how the Teen Titans Time Capsule is pretty much the current Time Capsule we have in DC Universe Online. If you have any questions, feel free to ask so in the comment section down below, and I'll see what I can do about answering your questions. I have roughly 2,000 videos about DC Universe Online at this point, so if I don't answer your question right away, just search in my videos. Odds are I already made a video that answers your question. Or click one of the videos that you see on your screen right now. Bye-bye.